At the National, we're very conscious about making sure that we have representation across the newsroom. Women play an instrumental role, but also younger people, people from different ethnic backgrounds, only because that makes us stronger. It makes our ability to tell stories all that much better. I've been very keen from day one to make sure that women find that they have more flexibility if needed when it comes to childcare, but that also applies to men. I'm very proud of the fact that we have both maternity and paternity leave that was made so that mothers and fathers feel that this is a place they would want to work at. The media industry has changed dramatically in the past decade, primarily because of changes in user behavior. Everybody now carries their phone in their pocket and wants instant information and wants to be in their infinite scroll. And so the media has had to adjust. Primarily traditional media outlets that have wanted to stay in the mix have had to go to the reader, to the viewer directly through their phone. Everything from changing our output, what frame we use for our videos, to thinking about the length of articles. But at the same time, the crucial part of journalism, which is accurate reporting, news gathering, making sure that we are fair and representative in how we cover the news, hasn't changed. There's a global competition for attention, and young journalists today are constantly going to be searching for ways of how they can capture attention of a reader, a viewer, of all audiences. And that makes journalism much harder for a young person starting in the industry today than perhaps somebody who started 20, 30 years ago and was able to establish themselves when there were far fewer media outlets. At the same time, for women, there's an even greater emphasis on looks, on visuals, on how you appear. And I think that makes it more challenging, and also how you mix the personal brand. You have to have a presence of some sort, for example, on social media. How you balance that personal brand with your professional brand. It's an exciting time for young women to get into journalism because they are able to put their mark on the industry much quicker than perhaps waiting for a break at a long line of other people trying to make their break. However, what is required today is somebody with strong news judgment and the ability to use social media platforms, to use opportunities to appear before a wider audience in the right way, maintaining that professional approach while also taking advantage of a personal touch that women can bring to the forefront. Women have been able to make inroads in the media industry across different sectors of journalism, but one sector that they remain underrepresented in is the decision-making sector. You don't find many media executives who are women, and there is still a perception that women are great on the ground, women have high emotional intelligence and can get stories that perhaps their male colleagues couldn't, but there's still a lack of understanding that women are actually great decision makers, and we need to see more of them in the media industry making those decisions. Female representation in the media is not just about how many women you have in your newsroom. It's also about how you choose to represent women. At the National, I have a challenge for my colleagues to make sure that we have at least one woman on the front page or on our homepage. Where we choose to represent women, sometimes they are stereotyped or pigeonholed in only certain categories or in certain news stories. For example, if we look at the financial world today, you have people like Janet Yellen or Christine Lagarde, who are real power players in the financial sector. They should be used as visual representation when we talk about economics, not just your typical stereotypical, let's say, male counterparts. For young journalists interested in climbing up the ladder in the media world today, there are three key components. One is how good your sources are. Build relationships of trust. Let people feel that they can come to you and you will represent them accurately, but you'll also ask the questions that matter. Second piece of advice is make sure that your general knowledge is really strong. Read, understand, question, meet with people. Improve your general knowledge. Even if it's not a beat that you cover, you need to know about it. And third, always remember that we have a responsibility as journalists. It's not about fame, it's not about fortune, it's not about exposure. It is the responsibility to reflect what's going on in society and ask the questions that matter. One of the highlights of being in Abu Dhabi is that there really is a can-do attitude. You can come here and do things, report on things, tell incredible stories. Another perk of being in Abu Dhabi is that it's at such a central location. If you're interested in the Middle East, if you're interested in Asia, if you're interested in Africa, this is the place to be, and from here you can travel hopefully post-COVID-19 times.